Hi, I'm Molly.
And I'm Camden.
And this is the South Marshall Minute. Field Day is on Friday for the students that only had 2 or fewer minors and no F's on your report card for the first term.
There will be ultimate frisbee, kickball, volleyball, parking lot games, and Kona ice. It starts after lunch. Today for lunch we're having country fried steak and hot dog, and tomorrow for breakfast we're having glazed donuts.
Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Golf is today after school. Tonight is 8th grade night for the football team against North Marshall. See you at the flagpole is tomorrow at 7:30 a.m.
Now to interviews with the softball team.
I'm Zach Graham. I'm here with Amelia Thweet, an 8th grade softball student. How do you think the overall season went?
It went pretty good.
What was the biggest struggle this year?
Probably just like confidence and knowing like our limits and stuff like that.
Thank you. This is Audrey Nisley, an 8th grade softball player. What was one thing that stood out to you this year?
When we won state, it was pretty exciting.
This month is Hispanic Heritage Month. Today's video is about Argentina.
Cambia lo superficial, cambia también lo profundo.
Hey everyone! Today we're traveling east to visit Chile's neighbor Argentina. Argentina is the 8th largest country on Earth, and just like its neighbor, it claims part of Antarctica as its territory. It also covers most of the southern part of South America, except for the little sliver of Chile. One of the countries that Argentina borders is Brazil, where you will find the Iguazu River and an area called the Devil's Throat. That is because 275 waterfalls dump into the area. Also in northern Argentina, in the regions of Salta and Jujuy, we have the Salinas Grandes or salt flats. Here they mine for salt, potassium, and other minerals, but you can visit just for fun. Also in Jujuy, we have the Cerro de los Siete Colores, or Hill of Seven Colors, in the gorge of Humahuaca. This desert area is absolutely stunning, and where you'll find that local indigenous life is completely different compared to our modern one, like in the hamlet of Purmamarca. Also in the north of Argentina is the Atacama Desert shared with Chile. One of the disputed areas between the two countries is Puna de Atacama. Of course, we can't explore Argentina without talking about the region of Patagonia, which covers the entire southern part of South America from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic. Here we see a picture of a southern right whale off the coast. And next, we have fall in the steppes of the region. We have to remember that because Argentina is in the southern hemisphere, seasons are flipped. That means that fall comes when it's spring in the United States. Other popular destinations to visit are the 7 lakes of Bariloche and the unconventional beach of the Bahia Bustamante. There's also Tierra de Fuego, or Land of Fire, which is in the very southernmost part of the region. Now let's move on to the cities. Buenos Aires is the capital and home to almost 3 million people. Córdoba, named after a city in Spain, is about half as populous but just as pretty. Rosario is located on the river Entre Rios. Ushuaia is the capital of Tierra del Fuego and the most southern city in the country. In fact, you can leave here and head on an Antarctic expedition. La Plata is a smaller city that is known for its architecture, which we'll see in the next slide. Here's the Cathedral of La Plata, one of the most famous churches in the country. This is the inside of the Palacio de San Martín, which was a home for the Anchorena family. It was then turned into the foreign ministry headquarters where they worked on relationships with other countries, but now it is only for ceremonial purposes. The Palacio de Aguas, or Water Palace, was built in the 1870s to purify water after a yellow fever epidemic. It looks like someone's home, but inside it's just a water treatment plant. Here is a look at the more rural village of Tilcara. Notice how the colors of the houses are influenced by the landscape. And last, let's take a look at a small house in Patagonia. Patagonia was home to the Tehuelche people, and it is thought that these folks helped the area get its name. Ferdinand Magellan helped explore here, and rumors quickly spread that giants as tall as 15 feet lived there, so he named Patagonia after the word Paragon, meaning giant. In reality, the indigenous people who lived there were simply taller than the Europeans of the time. Surprisingly, a great deal of Italians settled in parts of Argentina during the 1800s, which greatly contributed to its culture, especially food and the laid-back Mediterranean way of life. Of course, Spain and Portugal were huge influences as well. Traditional clothing in Argentina features a cowboy style or gaucho with wide brim hats for shade and functional clothing for work. There are also traditional shoes called alpargatas. Not only are they colorful, but they are very comfortable and durable, which makes them excellent for working outside. Argentina also has its fair share of influencers to model the latest fashion and makeup trends just like everywhere else in the world. Here we have Joana Marlen and sisters Sabina and Lucia. The most famous music style is the tango. It came from the outskirts of Buenos Aires and literally means a place for slaves to meet. Its roots are African, European, and criollo, which is a word to describe people of mixed races and cultures. It is also a super popular type of dance, and you'll get to hear and see a tango in a bit. Argentina's music scene isn't as popular as Colombia's, and what you might consider older music styles are still popular, such as the Nueva Canción, which uses the zampona pictured at the top. Nueva Canción can be political or about the land. You heard a song about the environment at the beginning of this presentation. However, there is a brewing rap scene, and the artist Kea is part of that movement. Luis Felipe Noy is Argentina's most famous painter, and he is still working to this day. This painting is called 2020, or 2020. Can you feel the loneliness in the work? Do you notice a mask on the figure? Do you think maybe the pandemic might have played a part in the tone of this piece? Buenos Aires also has a ton of street art. This isn't a painting like other street art you've seen, though. It's a mosaic, or tiny pieces of glass affixed to the walls of the building. Jorge Luis Borges is the most famous author of Argentina. He is known for his short stories that helped begin the genres of fantasy and magical realism. Remember Isabel Allende from yesterday? She wouldn't have been able to write in her magical, realistic style without this guy. Silvina Ocampo was friends with Borges, and they often worked together. She also wrote short magical realism stories. Argentina's most famous food is asado, or grilled meat, which comes from the gauchos. Provoleta is inspired by the Italians who inhabit Argentina. It's literally provolone cheese topped with chili flakes and spices and then grilled. Not like a grilled cheese sandwich, just the cheese is grilled. Alfajores are snacks made up of flaky cookies like shortbread and filled with cream, jam, or dulce de leche. These were brought over by the Spaniards, who got them from the Arabs. Notice how all of those cultures influence each other? Thank you for visiting Argentina with me. We're moving out of South America tomorrow and up to the Caribbean, where we'll explore Cuba and the Dominican Republic. Now let's check out a tango.
Now to
Now to
Brooklyn,
Brooklyn
with the weather.
By the time you're watching this, it'll be 58 degrees and sunny, and by the time we get out of school, it'll be 65 and sunny. Now back to Camden and Molly with the news.
Have
Have
a terrific Tuesday,
people.
Okay.